Hi guys, just a short recap for another clip we had from our Friday night live. I'm going to try and keep doing these to keep them relevant. People can find the content they want easier. We had a great organisation on DFA Academy, and we talked about their soccer team. I call it soccer, sorry, but most people in the world, apart from Australians, call it football. Team in Nigeria support a youth organisation towards giving these guys structure and soccer, and potentially one day helping them out of the area that they're in. Some really heart drawn moments, and it was awesome to see DFA and Futuremind. Really impressive guys, and I do wish them the best going forward. And I'm hoping that we can touch on this space a lot more. So something I keep talking about is let's do something with these games that are coming out, and we can see such really big things. There's a lot of real you're going to see a lot of real posts from these guys. It's not as easy as some of the simple stuff and laughs and shenanigans that we have. These are in a tough area, and anything we can do to help. This isn't a post or anything to donate or anything like that. I think we can do some amazing things going forward, and these guys already do amazing things over 3 years now. So get in, watch it, have a look, and I really hope you guys do enjoy. Let's switch up the drive a little bit. Well, welcome to stage, already on stage, of course, but Futuremon. Let's have a little bit of a look at DFA. So for anyone just going into here, if you click on the pins, you can click on the message that's there. It's Barndog, and that'll take you up the top to the YouTube, and it should be Twitter link there as well. Futuremon, do you want to tell us a little bit about what DFA is for the people that aren't familiar with it?
Yeah, thank you, Barndog. DFA, if you'd go ahead and drop a link to our introduction post, please, and I'll go ahead and give you guys a brief rundown of how it all started. So, back on Steam 3 years ago, there was there was a blockchain company called Oracle D, and Oracle D teamed up with Andre Gray, a famous football player, and they came up with this idea to create a cross-posting platform wherein children in Nigeria and anywhere else, but it mainly became Nigeria, would be able to post content playing football. But in the beginning, there was no real organization to this other than just this cross-posting platform through Oracle D, and they called it AGF Academy, which stood for Andre Gray Football Academy. And so me and another gentleman who was native to Nigeria came up with the idea to organize an actual team to start posting through this platform. And we were the first official team to post through the Andre Gray Football Academy on their platform and as well on Steam. And from there, it was a slow progression at first. If you look at the post, um, you'll see that the the kids didn't have anything. They didn't have balls to play with. Some of them didn't even have shoes, um, and it was a real mess in the beginning. We were just doing what we could to try to organize something, and through the curation system through Steam, which of course isn't a perfect system. I think we that's something that we can touch on later on. But through this curation system, this reward system, we were able to start rewarding the team and get them supplies, things they needed as a means to be able to have a proper football team. And I was the main editor on all the articles as the co-founder of this. I wanted to ensure that all the English grammar was as good as I could make it be, and I communicated with these guys through voice like we're doing right now, and just slowly started building up. And so we have a Medium article, DFA. If you'd be kind and share that article here. you guys can go through this article, and we have a whole list of achievements, and how we slowly just progressed. We got jerseys made. We got in contact with multiple different companies all over the world in an effort to try to purchase jerseys with cryptocurrency. And it wasn't easy. There was a lot of barriers. A lot of companies only wanted to operate with fiat. And, there was one hurdle after another, but we just kept with it and kept sticking with it. And a lot of people, a lot of the blockchain stakeholders were very supportive of this because the whole idea was to help the children ultimately. We wanted to do something where they could have fun, but ultimately, you know, they needed help, some guidance, you know, we wanted to build a good future for them. So it all turned out to be an amazing success. And to this day, I'll show you right here, I'll drop a link to the main blog on Hive. We're still growing strong. You can scroll through and see the posts. And this works on basically a 50-50 curation system. So anyone who's a stakeholder and votes the posts, they get a 50% return on their votes. Which, I'll leave my opinions out of all this. We know that the Steam and Hive blockchain has had political issues in the past, and it's not perfect. But we do think that things can be improved upon, and that we could also use other avenues aside from just the Hive blockchain, And this is where I think this opportunity that you've mentioned to incorporate Solana Gaming for the children and, help fund their goals through gaming. I think it's an amazing idea. And, I'd love to hear what the ideas are in terms of how this would all work for the gaming and the curation system, how that's going to work. But that's the basic gist of it. It's been 3 years in the making, and, DFA, we were the first, and, they're winning tournaments now and have some of the best young football players in Nigeria. And we couldn't be more happy about this and what these young boys have achieved. So if we can help them build a brighter future for themselves through this gaming idea that you guys have, I think it's amazing. And I'd be, I'm open to any and all questions you guys have, and I'll answer them to the best of my abilities.
We've got about 30 people in crowd now, so if anybody wants to put their hand up to be able to ask questions, that would be amazing. I've got heaps, of course. Old Barndog can talk for days, but I like, they're all playing on dirt patches for starters. As I've gone through the links you've done, they're all playing on dirt patches. So what is it like for these boys to be able to play on grass, or do they get to have an end of year tournament where it's completely different? They're in front of big crowds in main cities. What's the what's the yearly bonuses for them? Not
Well,
bonuses
this
as
is
in
what we'd
money and
also,
stuff, but like obviously every day you're working towards building them up through doing routines, exercises, healthy body, healthy mind. Um, So is it just through teamship and being able to play as a group? Is that the main thing for them?
that's the main thing for them currently. We'd like to be able to drive it in a direction where, this could be a worldwide thing where there's tournaments and, proper uh, proper playing fields where they're playing on grass, but it's still pretty rudimentary in its making right now. So where they're still playing on dirt, and um, there's tons of room for growth. We just need to get this out to the world, get it a little more popular, get more eyes on it. The DFA's done an excellent job with maintaining an active Twitter account and YouTube, and they've done all this. I haven't had huge involvement with their Twitter and YouTube. I've done a lot of editorial work for the blog and come up with ideas, and but definitely there is so much room for growth for DFA. And it's, as far as I'm concerned, we're still in the infantile stages of all this, even though it's been 3 years. With what we were working with and what we've achieved, I mean, we've pretty much done the impossible, cryptocurrency, and it's a win for crypto as well. You know, we just have to branch outside of the Hive blockchain a little bit because it kind of keeps us locked in a shell. It's not that we don't want to continue. We're absolutely going to continue on Hive, but the more eyes we can get on the project, the more people involved, more interest, the better. So absolutely, lots of room for growth, and we're open to ideas as well.
What's my chain of thought there?
In the current setup, what financial football teams where you pulling most of your resources from to sponsor these Nigerians?
The main resource is the blockchain with all the stakers who vote the posts. So the curation system is pretty basic with the 50-50, and we utilize the crypto that's earned with the account to purchase new gears. And there's been some different account holders who've donated some resources for gear, and we've created posts for that. You know, for the jerseys and soccer balls, we've got all the kids their own soccer balls, their own shoes, their own jerseys, and the primary resource has all been Steam and Hive. Now it's you know, Hive is the primary blog that I'm on. I haven't on Steam since the political environment changed there, and I'm not sure how much you gentlemen are current with that or aware of what happened, but it was quite ugly. They forked the blockchain because of the CEO of Steemit sold the company to Justin Sun, and you know the Steam community was just bugging out.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because you know Justin Sun was doing some things with it. Yeah, they weren't approving, and there was pre-mine resources that the main Steemit company had, and it was a ridiculous amount of pre-mine resources. And with this whole, you know, trade over this whole sale over to Justin Sun, you know, he gained allocation of all these resources, and he started. There was actually wallets that were stolen, and you know there was huge accounts. I won't mention any of the names of the accounts, but there was accounts that they had their resources stolen on Steam from, you know, the new company. So, you know, they had to fork, and they forked over to Hive, and a large percentage of the community ended up moving over to Hive. So that's where I'm at now primarily, and the editorial stuff, you know, DFA's gotten really good with their English, and I've given them some lessons on writing and helped them learn. We've done English, you know, fucking voice, and you know, so I've just assisted them as much as I can with becoming self-sufficient with a lot of their posting, because I have a lot that's going on in my own life with 3D printing and things I'm working on, and you know, so they're very self-sufficient at this point, and I assist with, you know, just helping them get the word out wherever I can communicate with people, and like you guys with the Solana Gaming, this is what I'm aiming to do, is just help them grow, and you know, see if we can't make this into something that's just much bigger than it is now.
It must be hard getting funding for a Nigerian team, especially with scams that are like, oh, I've just got a Nigerian football team that needs a bit of sponsorship. Just charitable organisations, just like my Nigerian prince that keeps emailing me. It must be hard.
Sure, we were actually we had some issues with it, with trust. You know, there was a lot of worries on how these resources were going to be used. And there was difficulties at times with acquiring some of the equipment over in Lagos, Nigeria. This is where DFA is, Lagos. We had oftentimes there'd be local purchases for gear, football, cones and nets, and we weren't able to get some of the receipts that were needed proper because they just didn't have the machines, the printers and stuff like that. So we're dealing with handwritten receipts, and some of our funders were really they weren't happy, and they were accusing, and it was like, we did our best to make sure that we could quell those concerns, and we did, through just showing everything we were doing with it, the resources, all the gear that was bought, and 3 years we've been going, and now at this point, there's no question in anyone's mind that DFA is, a well-rounded group of individuals that doesn't have a motive for profit. This is with the intent to help the children. And on a personal note, for me, I grew up in Syracuse, New York, which is a smaller town in New York. It's not the big city. And I went into the military at 18 and got out, and I ended up as an alcoholic, homeless man, addicted to cocaine for 10 years of my life, living on the streets. And cryptocurrency saved my life through blogging. That's how I got clean 5 years ago, and just started changing my life. And what it taught me being out there, on the streets is, we have to look out for one another. I can't really explain what it's like being on the streets dying and not having any kind of help. And so this is where I gained this charitable insight, so to speak, and it's what saved my life. So, I think it's a beautiful thing that we can take cryptocurrency and change lives of people who are struggling, because, in the Western world, a lot of people, they don't really have the foresight to realize the struggles that people are going through in other parts of the world. And it is unfortunate that there are a lot of scammers in these parts, sure, because it crushes the credibility of small startup foundations like what we've built. But we're hopeful that our credibility is shown through the years of work we've put in, and just take a look at these jerseys these kids are wearing, and all the gear that they have, and the tournaments that they've played, and and just keep building this. That's kind of my perspective on it, and I hope it kind of rings with you guys. Where I'm coming from as a guy in New York who wanted to help these kids.
Yeah, definitely sounds coming from your heart. It's a bit of a passion project, it sounds to me.
Yeah.
I love it. I'll go and listen to this video later on. Questions relevant towards bringing this into. There was many interviews with Wagner, how they talk about having a game accessible to lower economic people. But the problem with Star Atlas is it's going to be a game built on UE5 that requires a computer and hardware to be able to run. So for us, we need two things. We need obviously a game, and the games are being produced now. But then we need a platform for them to be delivered on. Well, I guess three things. But we need a phone game. How many of these kids, so we're talking about children that are in such horrible areas and environments, are phones readily accessible? How do they play and access these games?
That's a great question. I was actually thinking of that earlier. I wanted to talk to you about it. They do have smartphones. I don't know if all the kids have smartphones. I know the guy that I work with, who's running this, he's has access to a phone. I'll have to DFA, are you on there? Do most of the kids have phones over there?
So DFA is saying most don't have smartphones, because if you talk to any game at the moment, any game developer will say instantly, I would absolutely love to donate towards that. So that's solved. That problem isn't a problem. Any game will love what's going to happen with it because it's good press for them. It costs them nothing, but they've got a potential chance to be able to help someone, and actually have people playing their game as well. Because most games that want to start out need to have people that can actually play and be a part of the successful community and develop and all of those kinds of things. But that's two of the problems, and then we need to obviously have ways of managing to get these to wallets, and I guess then we've got to teach the children the cryptocurrency side of things to go with it. The phones, that was an interesting one. So for that, effectively, we need to find ways to fundraise towards that additionally.
Absolutely. And are these games, because I'm more of a PC guy myself, are these games, they're being developed to be playable on smartphones, I'm assuming, right?
Yep,
This
absolutely.
is the main.
Some are.
Awesome.
So a lot of them are being built on Unity. Some of them are being built where they're being built on UE4, and they've got ways of drawing that. Phone is being concerned. Even some are being WebGL. So a lot of your big power games like Star Atlas, which has a $25 buy-in cost, it's all well and good for them to say, well, someone from Venezuela can play it, but then they might not have a $2,000 machine to play that game. Whereas a smartphone should be, I've got 3 sitting in my room right now. It's not hard for me to send one, but there's other things that we need to create, and we need the big brains in the community. And it was amazing to have people last week talking about this. Every week we've got extra people. Sorry, DFA, that's your invite coming up.
Yeah, I always thought it funny how he goes, oh, we're trying to reach poor people in the universe, but poor people that earn $2 a week are not going to be able to buy a $5,000 top of the range gaming PC. It's just out of the question.
Absolutely, and I thought that would be a super important. We saw there was a spate of probably 2 weeks where Star Atlas kept talking about how good it was, and they were doing it for the people, and they might earn $5 a day, but now they can earn $5 an hour because they can't. It's blockchain. You can't stop basic economics and people trying to make money and all of that, and it could be a good opportunity for them. So it's a matter of getting the actual technology to these kids and stuff as well. That I can see is super important, and then them being able to protect those devices, because obviously they're then worth money and will get stolen.
Yeah, but it's also even think about even getting a smartphone to the kids. Like the average cost of a smartphone these days to play a game is $1,000.
Now
So
that's for a
it
new
is
age
still a
smartphone,
pretty
though.
high interest.
That's
what you need to play these games.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see basic games. That's actually a really cool point. We should probably look at that a little bit more. So, like I've spoken to a lot of devs in the gaming side of Solana, and they're all so happy to talk. And it's what's really drawn me to the situation. And they're all really, as soon as you say, oh, we'd love to be able to build this towards a scholarship program, and actually do it by sharing wallets and passwords. But they do a 50-50 scheme, generally speaking, where the sponsor and then the person being sponsored take 50% each. Whereas I really think that we can go further down that process and say, well, put numbers on it. It's very hard not knowing the cost of everything, but why not go 20-80? So the people playing the game are making the money. We can get these things donated from the games by covering them, putting them on stage, and playing them and bringing them to the Western world, bringing them to people that have the money to buy the games. But this is amazing. It's super cool to get you on stage and talk about it, Futuremind and DFA. I'm so happy to have you guys on. We have one question here from Pontes. Do you guys show the spending quarterly, the money spending, the donations, etc.? Like, do you guys show how it's transparent being blockchain?
Yeah, we've had some posts throughout the years that we listed our transactions in the posts, and all the transfers out to the exchanges obviously are visible in the wallets because they're all open. I mean, to find these DFA, if you know where some of these posts are, you could gather them up for everyone. We create a lot of posts, but they are laden throughout the posts over the years of the spending, and you know, we've done our best to keep records of all this stuff. You know, like you mentioned, this is all new space, and it's been difficult to keep it, you know, perfect like everyone would want to see it, but we've done our best to try to make all this open and visible to everyone, to see how we've managed the spending. Yeah.
All right, so
In
we've
terms of like a post that shows all of our spending in one post over the years, no, we haven't created anything like that. We could, if you guys would like to see that, I can get together with them and we can collect all of our records, and we can put together a post and share it with you guys. We're more than happy to provide as much information as we can for you gentlemen.
no, that was a good crowd question. I like it because, you know, we talk about blockchain and it gets into a lot of points that um, I'm going to need to tackle through the next month or so. Is we need to keep things as transparent and open as possible. So you guys came onto Grape. How's the partnership gone with DFA in the changes? Like, I got told off last week. I've got a bit Grape heavy, but since you've been on the Grape platform, I've seen several videos uploaded. Even there was a really cool one with the boys doing the Grape chant. But where does it go for you guys? How has that helped the system?
Well, by branching out and getting more eyes on DFA for one. I mean, we wanna spread the word with what we're doing, for the kids over there. So that's one aspect. Um, but you know, I'm still bringing myself up to speed with exactly what we're doing here with grapes. So I don't really have a good answer for you just yet, other than, you know, my whole idea with this is to extend the visibility on DFA and what the goal is, because this can become a worldwide thing for other, you know, blockchain companies that could come together and also come over to Grape. So this could, you know, we can bounce off of each other to make it beneficial for both DFA for the kids and for potential new startups, for charitable organizations and investors, the whole nine yards. That's the vision. And you know, I didn't when we first started talking about this whole idea of the scholarship-based gaming. This is something I've never even thought about before. Like that's truly a visionary kind of thinking in my mind. I love it, and I'm curious to know like the economics on that. How would you, you know, propose that this would work for a scholarship gaming? Would it be like there's the curation system of, say, you would mention something like a 80-20 or a 60-40, and there would be like a fund from the 40% that goes into the scholarship program, and then a part of that goes towards gaming development and all that. I'm not an economics major, so you know, I have questions too. Just
Um,
curious what your ideas are with that.
I'm absolutely not an economics major myself, but the basis behind a lot of these projects, a lot of these games, a lot of places like Grape, who is the center of Solana, being linking up with their tools, and they've got 100 partners, over 100 partners. There's over 100 in the wings. They share NFTs, and a lot of these things just sit in vaults and they're not used. So a lot of these games that are being developed. So I concentrate on the gaming, and it's funny why I'm going down this track. I can't fully explain it, but I just see an opportunity where there's going to be these resources that are sitting in a vault because they are history and they were part of a partnership deal that were drawn up. But by not being played and utilized within the games, they're actually not growing and expanding. They're not having their metadata increased. So a game like Kaiju cards will be crawling through dungeons, killing monsters, getting as far as you can through with maybe one Kaiju card, and then you're going to get extra, probably fungible tokens. They haven't explained it fully. So for people out there that haven't heard, NFTs, obviously non-fungible token. That's a card, that's something you can sell. Sometimes you get things which are the fungible tokens, so they're not a specific numbered part. So, you know, normally you get a 10,000 launch, and that's 1 to 10,000, that's an NFT. But you might have 100,000 bits of armor, metal that you pick up. So my basis plan to it would be is the majority of the money that the games that these people are playing in, they'll take the majority of that profit. So we need to find the games that have the play to earn mechanics. And that's a very, very too widely used term at the moment. Play to earn isn't spending Solana, entering an arena and battling it out. The winner takes Solana. That's not play to earn. Play to earn is like Axie, where you're doing quests. A non-Axie, alien worlds, you earn Tellurium. You know, like, we really need to fine-tune the games that have these potentials. And this is the problem, is that we don't have the paperwork out there. We don't have the games in production yet. But we are in a very, very early stage in Solana Gaming, and we can set this up now with very simple thinking of what can we do to improve the future.
I love it. To expand on that a little bit, just with some thoughts that are coming to me as you're talking about it, on top of the play to earn system that you're talking about here, you know, maybe even there could be tournaments on top of this. Like, let's say we get other foundations that are doing similar things, and there's, you know, maybe there could be even major tournaments, which
Yep. Perfect. So
you know, you could fund like a scholarship program. You got two teams that are playing against each other, and you know, whichever one wins might be able to win a major scholarship for all the kids. Like, this is next level stuff, man.
it can lead. We did an interview AMA on Grape 2 weeks ago with Dole Society. They've planned a 200 Solana tournament. So that's going to be Q1 of 2022. I'm trying hard to get live gameplay beta on Grape. But if we have a Dole sitting in our vault that's inactive, then it makes no sense to me why we're not playing that Dole. And we need to be smarter in setting up for these things. You've got games that are being built now, Chain Myth, based on an Indian god and goddess situation. They will be a 5v5 game. These are games that we can link up with. And for anybody that listens to every week and all of these kinds of things, I've talked about them, I've put in, we can do something really, really awesome with that game. Is it going to work? We're taking chances. It is crypto, it is gaming, it's double chances. Not everything's going to be built, not everything's going to succeed in these games, but it's not at cost and risk to the potential foundations that we can actually help, because we're earning these NFTs through our own time and input and resources. We're all sitting here. I'm 4.5 beers deep, you know, like I'm having a few beers talking to people and enjoying my night. But we're talking about gaming and all, it's not costing me anything, but these games are being built in the meantime. So there are going to be things that are sitting in vaults that we can use and can have big real world prizes. And Dole Society might be one of the first ones that comes out.
I love it. And I love what you were talking about earlier too, with the idea of, you know, the NFTs, you can level them up instead of just, you know, yeah.
Well, the thing with
Really
the
cool,
NFTs
man.
is if they sit as a level 1 in a vault, yeah, cool. It's a few bits of, it's a JPEG, or it might be a MP4, and it sits there, but it's not getting better. So from someone physically playing that, they are actually helping the game and then they are also improving and adding value to that game. To the NFT that's sitting in the vault, because they're improving the metadata. Now, this also comes down to, we need to then, how do we line up the new skills, because they're going to be able to upgrade, and there's all these little extra bits of information that do need to be improved on. But we need to be doing this now. We are so early in Solana Gaming. We're going to have games, I believe, within the next 4 weeks. And we've got a guest on stage now that says they're going to have a game completely ready to play by March next year. So games have been developed for years and have changed trajectory to play on blockchain, because they've seen there is a fucking change. It's not all about buying skins in a game that you can no longer cash out on. You might want to move out of that game and go into another game. This blockchain gaming. So we are super early in the whole sphere, and having these awesome thoughts and conversations with, it's really cool to get DFA on tonight. I'm so happy that you guys came on, and DFA, you pinged straight away to fill in a position. Metaverse is in the crowd now, funnily enough. But Futuremind, you've been awesome as well. I appreciate you guys coming on stage.
Thanks a lot, Barndog. It's been a real pleasure being here with you guys. I'm looking forward to the future of Solana Gaming, and whatever I can do to, to assist with this. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, and this is the thing, is that like, it's everyone. There's been a lot of pretty cool comments about it and stuff, but I've just put an idea out there. We need the brains. I'm not a brain. I'm just an Aussie dude that works a full-time job and has a fucking passion to play games. I've seen there was no one hyping up Solana Gaming. Star Atlas got very big very early, but then there was all these other games being left behind in the shadows, and not every game's going to succeed, but what if 20% of them do, and we're covering them, and we're a part of them from the ground floor, and that, we can develop things with that. 10,000 NFTs get made and created, but from there, games need to have people playing them, and this is where I can really see it intrinsically becoming good, is that we're sending people to join their Discords, we're sending people to get excited about it. The kids as well, like, for the kids, they're having fun playing a computer game. For me, that was a Super Nintendo. Like, we had 4 or 5 of us that would save up our pocket money, and we would hire it for 2 days over a weekend. So people can do the math on that to work out how old we are. But that would be our weekend. And now smartphones are out, different games.
Yeah, man. Great ideas.
Thanks very much, fellas, for coming on. Futuremind, DFA, I wish you all the best, and hopefully get some more deals going on and more sponsorships.
All right, thank you. You gentlemen have a great day.